Welcome back to All Things 80s. Now, although Kenner's Star Wars toys are among my favourites of the 80s, they weren't without fault. Kenner made numerous strange decisions throughout the line, and today we're going to take a look at one of the most glaring. As you've seen from the title of this video, we're going to be talking about the hands that were sculpted on the action figures. Now, Retroblasting have already covered the fact that the figures only came with one usable hand, so I'm focusing on the so-called usable hand and how Kenner got this so wrong. Star Wars figures were among the first to come packaged with weapons, but given their small size, these tiny weapons were always likely to be lost, and this was compounded by the fact that the majority of the figures simply couldn't keep hold of them. As far as I'm concerned, there were only 3 figures in the entire line that had the hands sculpted perfectly and could actually keep hold of the weapon. Kenner actually addressed this in 1978 with the second wave of Star Wars figures and gave us Greedo with what is the best sculpted hand in the entire line. Once you insert the blaster, that's it, it's there to stay. Now you would think that Kenner would have realised they were onto something here and continued making figures like this, and they kind of did, as one other figure in this second wave had a hand with a similar sculpt. In this instance, Luke Skywalker X-Wing pilot came with a perfectly formed hand which could keep hold of his blaster. Sadly, Kenner never kept up with this type of hand sculpt, and it wasn't until the first wave of Return of the Jedi figures in 1983 that we saw something similar with Squidhead. Unfortunately, that was it. There were no more figures to feature this sculpt, and as a result, millions of tiny blasters disappeared forever. To further compound things, Kenner released numerous figures that shared the same blaster, yet they all had different hand sculpts, resulting in varying degrees of success in actually holding the blaster. Kenner's Star Wars figures were far from perfect, but at the end of the day, they're still magical and hold a dear place in my heart.